Before I begin, let me give a big thanks to those who liked the first part of the Ed and Eddy Retrospect, and now part 2.
In the last video, I talked about Ed, Ed, and Eddy from, well, Ed, Ed, and Eddy.
Let's move on to the kids of the cul-de-sac, which will be broken into 2 parts.
Let's start with Sarah, Ed's baby sister. If there's 2 words to describe her, they'd be anger, management. If even the slightest mishap happens to her, she goes off without warning.
Between her and Donald Duck, it'd be too close of a call on who has a shorter fuse.
It seems her anger stems from Eddy the most, as he's the one instigating the issue. The 2 hate each other and know it. When it comes to her older brother, she too loses her cool, but not as often.
Mainly because they're siblings.
It's apparent that despite being siblings, they're not treated as equals. Sarah has a nicer room, gets treated better, and is spoiled rotten, while Ed is in the basement.
Now hold up, I don't believe that Ed's room being in the basement is based on treatment.
It's more like a personal choice rather than implemented.
Just a theory. Oh, wait, wrong channel.
One could say that if Eddy wasn't around, she'd probably treat Ed better. Maybe. But no matter what, Ed will do what big brothers do best, look out for their younger sibling. When it comes to Double D, it seems she's both smitten and enraged at the same time.
I'll explain in detail.
Enraged with Ed means that he's friends with Ed and Eddy, always doing things for them and not doing things for himself. Ed is also the Ed that takes the least damage of all the Eds. Ed is also the only Ed that can reason with Sarah when she gets angry.
Brother, can you spare an Ed is a good example.
When she's smitten with Ed, it's really easy to see. And Ed Too Many is the perfect example, as Sarah develops feelings for Ed after he gives her a flower.
Well, that escalated quickly.
All throughout the episode, she gets so possessive of Ed, it's really uncomfortable. By episode's end, she reunites with Jimmy. When it comes to Sarah, many people hate her because of her obnoxious behavior. Others see her as the female with the most dimension.
Now we look at Jimmy, Sarah's best friend.
Jimmy is based on Danny Antonucci's cousin, who'd rather play with girls.
Whether playing with toys or doing make-believe, the 2 enjoy each other's company.
Jimmy is also the neighborhood wimp, who gets injured very easily.
Does this kid know anything about self-care?
Okay, so maybe there are times Jimmy is without Sarah, but they're far and few. One thing Jimmy is good at without Sarah is cooking. From a holiday buffet to cookies, he's got talent. He also likes to paint, but this talent isn't shown as much. Going back to being a wimp, this statement is also inaccurate. Twice he's demonstrated his physically ruthless side. The first was wrestling Eddy for the jar of cash after the trampoline. The other was him beating up Double D after Eddy's taunting.
Never underestimate the quiet ones.
While Jimmy's character has depth, him being in an episode with some sort of injury both helps and harms him. It helps by showing off his feature, but it also hurts that this concept gets stale.
Cryad is a great example of this.
When it comes to the Eds, Jimmy is more or less neutral, but leaning more towards unfavorable. While Jimmy holds fewer grudges with Ed and Double D, it's Eddy that Jimmy despises the most.
Does this come as a surprise?
Ironically, it was Eddy who took Jimmy under his wing and taught him everything Eddy knew.
And now, Johnny and Plank.
If you thought Sarah and Jimmy were inseparable, Johnny and Plank has them beat. Johnny, despite being accepted by the other children, spends most of his time alone with Plank. He treats Plank like as if Plank is alive and obeys Plank to a fault.
Why does this sound familiar?
Could Ventriloquist and Scarface from Batman be relatives to Johnny and Plank?
It's just that, no, not going there.
Maybe if Johnny threw his voice?
No, not going there either.
Anyways, another thing about Johnny is that his head is a recurring gag, getting stuck in various places and being the brunt end of jokes and insults. With that out of the way, let's continue. Johnny is perhaps the happiest of all the kids in the cul-de-sac. He lives in his own world with Plank and has energy to boot. This can also be a bit of a problem because his energy can get on the others' nerves.
Could it be that Johnny has ADHD?
When it comes to the Eds, Johnny is a little more favorable than the other kids. He doesn't mind the Eds unless they get between him and Plank.
Dear Ed, all Eds are off and Urban Ed are the only 3 times Plank and Johnny have separated.
But the episodes end happily and both are reunited.
Part 2B will cover Kevin, Rolf, and Naz, so stay tuned.